Sorry about that.
Hi everyone, all settled? Start with Gary from Sky.
Thank you, Mark. Hello, Mikel.
Hello.
Can we get some injury updates from you? Any new injuries or any updates on the injuries you have?
No, the ones that they were long term, like Emil, Reese and Gabi Jesus, they are closer. They started to do some activities and they've been outside, but they are not ready yet to be contributing.
Because I think there was some speculation that Emil in particular might be ready for this weekend.
No, not for this game. No.
And any more of an update on Jesus?
Gabriel's doing really well. He's already been outside a little bit. It's still early stages. He's keep pushing everybody every single day, but we need to respect some timelines and some processes. But he's doing really well.
You've got a date in your head, a date in his head when we might see him?
No. I think it's still too far of that. You have to see now when you start to put some loads to that knee and start to get some movement and some actions that they are not as controlled as the ones that he's been doing, how Danny reacts and whether he's comfortable as well to go to the next stage.
Just briefly on contracts, obviously some good news last week about Martinelli.
Yeah.
You were saying that Saliba and Saka will take care of themselves. Have they taken care of themselves yet?
Yeah, they will do in the same case that that we deal with Gabi, we'll deal with the rest, and things need some time sometimes, but we are delighted with the news of Gabi, obviously.
You're not used to losing this season, to lose 2 on the bounce in different competitions, but 2 on the bounce. Can you use that almost as a positive, as a reboot? The team no longer in the comfort zone? Absolutely.
It's not about the comfort zone. It's about in football you're going to lose football matches, very different football matches. The one we lost at City and against Everton, but losing brings a lot of opportunities as well to look at other things and see the reaction of the team. And the reaction of the team has been superb this week. And tomorrow we're going to put a great performance in front of our crowd to try to win the game.
Move on to Brentford, I'm sure. I just wanted to get one in quickly about the big game that follows that, Manchester City. And something that Pep's been saying about when you were at City, you never celebrated a City goal against Arsenal. Is that your memory of it, and why was that?
Just for respect, I think, for the feelings that I had toward the club, and probably if I would have scored as a player, I would have done something similar.
Talking about City, it's a question we're asking all the managers today. Your view on the allegations against them at the moment?
I'm not going to make any comment on that, I'm sorry.
But obviously somebody who worked there for 3 years, you won 2 Premier League titles. I was wondering whether in any way you thought, despite all the work you put in on the training ground, that there's a potential that they might be devalued?
I can't respond to that question because I will be responding part of the previous question and another one to that, I'm sorry.
But you never, in your role, saw anything slightly untoward going on?
No.
Charlie?
Hi, Mikel.
Hi.
Obviously, before the game against City, you've got a big game coming up against Brentford tomorrow. They are on an incredible 9-game Premier League unbeaten run. So what kind of challenge do you think that they will pose Arsenal tomorrow?
Many different ones, the ones that they put every single week to every opponent, and it doesn't matter the level of where they are sitting on the table. They are extremely efficient at what they do. Very clear way of playing, very clear of generating advantages, overloads, and sequences of play that they want to do. And that will be the game tomorrow. And be at your best in every single phase, because they can create you a lot of issues from anywhere on the field.
Because you do have that game coming up against City next week, will that have any sort of part to play in the team that you potentially start tomorrow?
No, I think our only focus is about Brentford tomorrow. All the preparation has been about that. And let's go into tomorrow's game with the right mindset, because we're going to have to be really, really good to beat them.
One final one from me, and talking about the mindset, what was the reaction from your players in training this week following the loss?
Really positive. Straight away, we sit together, we discuss the game, what happened, and the opponent played his part, and you have to congratulate Everton for what they did on the day. It's true there were things that we didn't do like in other games, and that's the reasons why you lose football matches. But it's always an opportunity to bounce back and to show the character that we have and how much we want what we are fighting for, and do it tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bradley,
Hi,
talk
Mikel. Hope you're well. As a young manager, what's it like being involved in your first title race? Because I suppose last weekend you'd have had the low of losing to Everton and the stress of maybe City closing the gap, and then the next day they go and lose to your rivals, and you know that gap's still the same. So how do you cope with the stresses and the pressure that comes with?
As a young manager, a lot of energy. I'm an energy giver. I don't like energy suckers. I just like to give. And I like people who gives energy in many different ways. Sometimes it's with his body language, his tone of voice, hugging people, looking for solutions, not excuses. So energy, a lot of energy.
It's funny you say that, because Martin Odegaard has written a piece this week in the Players' Tribune, and he said, I challenge anyone to come away from a meeting with Arteta and not believe everything he tells you. He's next level. What do you say? How do you respond to that?
Well, that is great that the players believe in what we tell them and convince them the best way to play and win football matches. And at the end, it's completely up to them, because they have the most difficult job to make that happen.
And I suppose one player who maybe doesn't get the credit that other members of the team do is Gabriel. He's been really strong in defence this season. What have you made of his performances?
Not only his performance, I think the way he's evolving, and he's just, I think, getting better in every phase of play and everything that we demand him to do. And his leadership skill as well, the importance in the team, his mentality as well. I think he's come a long way since he joined the club.
And lastly from me, what have you made of following Balogun's form out on loan in the Brentford, the top scorer in the French league?
So happy for him. It's a boy that he has, again, a really clear idea of what he wants to do with his career, really ambitious, really committed, and really brave. And we discussed a lot before he made that move, whether it was the right place to go and other choices that he had. He was so convinced, and really, really happy for him, because he deserves what he's getting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mark?
Hi, Mikel. I know you can't or really talk about the situation at Manchester City, but as a team in a title race against them, does your team have to be ready to take any kind of advantage that might come if they take their eye off the ball because of all this?
We have enough to look after our own garden. So that's what we do, look after our own garden.
Just quickly going back to Balogun there, I know you obviously have a lot of faith in him, that's why you rewarded him with that long-term contract not so long ago, but are you at all surprised at just how well this loan has gone and how well he's doing?
I'm very pleased, and obviously when you look at the numbers and what he's doing, it's just incredible. And he changes, it's very rare to see that. But it's got something special, that's why we decided to give him a long-term contract and to have faith on him. And to give him the long period that he's needing now, because the one that he's having now is very different to the one that he had before at Middlesbrough. But that one was very necessary to see the outcome of what he's having now.
Just on the game of the weekend, obviously Man City on Wednesday, it's impossible not to let yourself think that it's such a huge game. Is there a danger of the players at all taking their eye off the ball this weekend? Is that something that you're going to be so determined not to let happen?
No, because for us it's impossible to think about City when we have Brentford. So for us the only possibility is to look at Brentford.
Just on Flo, I was just wondering, after coming back from Middlesbrough, what were you kind of looking for from him for this loan? Because obviously he's been roughed up a bit in the Championship and then going to a league that you know in France. So what were you kind of looking for him to develop out there?
That he had some scars from that period, and there were moments that he suffered, moments that he played, moments he didn't play, moments that he played, but he believed he wasn't just his best position, and throw all the excuses out and get that as a proper experience and add to the next one. And that's what he did, put that behind him, but using exactly what worked for him, what it didn't work for him, look in the mirror and go to the next one. And I think he's done that really, really well.
Is there any thought on the plans for him going forward, or do you think about that?
The plan is now that he finishes his period there, assess the situation, where he is, where we are, sit down and plan the next chapter in that development career.
Guy?
Mikel, there were some revamps ideas for the Super League this week. Obviously Arsenal were part of it a long time ago and went back on that decision. Do you think that's something the club should look to stay away from, or do you think there might be some interest in a revamped version?
Another topic that I cannot touch. I'm sorry.
That's the end of the line. Sorry, James, one last one.
It's not a question about City's charges, but obviously one of the possible sanctions is a points deduction. How determined are you to win this league on the pitch and not have to rely or have any other issue about points deduction for your main rival?
Just focus on what we have to do and win enough football matches for that to happen. That's it.
You want to win it out there, don't you? That's what it's all about.
Sorry?
You want to win it on the pitch.
Yeah, we have to earn the right to win it, that's for sure.
Okay.
When you were the Arsenal captain, I think a few of us in the room who will remember disappointing defeats, and you, pretty much only you, maybe you and Mertesacker, the only people who come out and actually try and get your messaging right, say the right things and try and lift the squad. Obviously a disappointing result at Everton. Do you feel any parallels in terms of the messaging that you've had to do this week, or is it just a completely different environment these days?
Yeah, it's a very different role for sure, but probably the purpose and intention is the same, you know, and my reaction to them was what I told you guys about how much we love them, how much we admire what they've been doing, because at the end it's credit to them, and just help them in the lows, and they were disappointed is necessary, is true, because we are here to win, and the whole week the way they responded is zero question from me that tomorrow they're going to give absolutely their best to win the game.
Do you sometimes think that the lessons you learned as a player here have informed this kind of week?
Yes, obviously, and dealing with groups of people, you know, the environment that in football at the highest level is very complex as well, because there's a lot of people involved with different roles, with different cultures, different ways of thinking. So to align everybody is not easy, but to be fair with this group is quite easy.